look at difficult people and figure out what makes them tick.
And that's why I think this movie opened with her on such a vulnerable note, where she's not in control at all. You know, she's dealing with that age that she is and that dementia that I mean, we always hear the Ronald Reagan analogies because they were such friends. And in a sense, you can kind of understand her politics by that. But when I saw the audience respond and not knowing, it's strange because the musical Billy Elliot is got that whole number in it about Merry Christmas, Margaret Thatcher, and we hope you die soon. You know?
Yes, there are websites devoted to what people will do on the day, the kind of dance they'll do on the day she dies. And, you know, that's one way to look at people. But
what did you two each learn about Margaret Thatcher that you didn't know before you did this movie?
Well, I knew quite a bit about the gender politics of Margaret Thatcher, being a woman in relation to this party of men, but I had no idea how class was such a big theme. I mean, something that I don't know whether Ronald Reagan, you know, who'd come from a similarly humble background, was patronized in quite the same way in the US, but
he was an actor.
Yeah, but it is different here. That's something that I found impenetrable, and that pervades in the UK still. Class distinctions. People decide who they are by the way they speak. They can locate them exactly, socioeconomically, and they decide about them. And to the point where you would ape a lower class accent, even if you were posh, in order to win credibility, like street cred, you know. And it's all really, really complicated, but I thought it was fascinating how she was discriminated against more because she was a grocer's daughter within the Conservative Party than she was even by virtue of being a woman.
When we talk about her being a conservative, we're not quite talking about her being a conservative in the way that you would think of it. She's not Michelle Bachmann or Sarah Palin in any way. She's very, very to the left of that.
Yes, I mean, she would be drummed out of the Conservative Party in America because she was pro-choice. In fact, recently I was in Washington and I met someone who was in the room when she took down Dan Quayle and President Bush for using abortion as a you know, leverage for political gain. And she just said it was unconscionable, and she just didn't let up. And this person got embarrassed by how she was addressing the President of the United States and his Vice President. But she was one of the earliest, she recognized global warming. She was a chemist. She was a scientist. She was, what did I say? Oh, there were a lot of homosexual scandals, and she would say in her government, and she had no brief against anybody's personal life. She said to the man, "You stand next to me all day and this will go away." And that's how she dealt with it. A lot of surprises in there. Social conservatives would not, she wouldn't be admitted to the party here at all.
Good
right?
for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But we hear so many things said about her. I mean, Francois Mitterrand had that famous quote about saying she had the mouth of Marilyn Monroe, but the eyes of Caligula. Yes. Well, that would be a wonderful note for you on playing it. Just do that for us right now.
Can I
Meryl.
do that?
Yeah. That would be great. Can we talk a little bit about the making of this movie? This is a movie in which you star, in which you've directed, and which Abby Morgan has written. These are 3 women doing this. This is a real triumvirate of some kind of power that's going on there. Did you feel it? Did you feel when you were doing this that you were making this movie the way you 3 wanted to make it?
Yes.
Yeah, but it felt like making movies. I mean, I didn't feel my difference, you know, and our mutual, you know, shared. No, it felt like making a movie, and it was exciting because it only cost $14 million, which really is astonishing. You know,
It's the catering budget on Transformers
on
3.
Hugo.
Yeah,
Hugo was 170 million, so you would make 10 of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie. Yeah, it's a great movie. But if we had 10 times our budget, I mean, we would have had lots of time, but we were under constraints, and I think it's astonishing what she's achieved in that amount of time and that amount of budget. It shows that, you know, sometimes when the tight pot makes the flower bloom, you can really, you have to come up with it, and you have to come up with only the honest answer, because there is no luxury in that process. Mm-hmm. There is no fat. There's no whatever you want. Mm-hmm. You know, there's just the necessity of the story we have to tell.
Meryl's coming up with it because she's performing it. I'm sure you just drenched yourself in Margaret Thatcher before you were doing this, but in a way you're doing what she had to do, which was to reinvent herself in that way. Did you feel that while this was happening?
I felt that Meryl, being the outsider, playing the outsider, the woman who always felt outside the party, was critical, and that there was a tension on the set when Meryl had to stand up in front of 350 British actors, and the feeling of, you know, that she was further away from them than, say, a British actress would have been, with whom there would have been a natural, probably more history between them. And I think that's a really powerful element in the making of this.
Did you felt that? You felt that outsiderness while you were doing this, or was it just with the men?
Oh, sure. I'm from New Jersey. You know, there's no way I really, it was natural. But I do have certain autocratic parts of my personality, so that was already there. And, you know, certain understanding of that difficulty. You know, I was one of the first 60 women to integrate a men's college, Dartmouth, way back in the Pleistocene era, and there were 6,000 men. It was the time Animal House was actually there. I mean, I knew those guys, and it was really very, very interesting. So I had something of that understanding of being really alone. I mean, a lot of them were very happy we were there, for obvious reasons, and but a lot of them didn't want us there. It was a conservative place in some elements of it, and they didn't like girls being there. You know, it was it demeaned the institution. Mm-hmm. It meant, you know, they're letting anything in, and I really remember those days. It's hard for kids now to understand that is how it was, and viscerally I could summon that up when I walked into the first rehearsal, and there were all these distinctive, wonderful British actors who ended up being real softies and
in the end
very welcoming. Yeah, really great. They were great.
I'm still flashing on you as a Jersey girl, you know, hanging out with the Situation and Snooki. I just can't quite get to that yet. But did you feel that, Phyllida, while you were making it, this sort of classical Shakespearean sort of sense of who she was? Because we're watching that fall right from the beginning. We're seeing the diminishment.
That's why I feel you don't need to know anything about Margaret Thatcher to enjoy the film. It's a sort of mythic story of a rise to a struggle to gain a career and this sort of to be the first Prime Minister. And then, as I said, her strengths, this indomitable will and this conviction, turn into a kind of arrogance, a refusal to collaborate with her ministers, a refusal to listen, and eventually they conspire against her and bring her down. And you could say she was brought down by, as she saw it, it was treason, treachery. You know, it is like something out of Julius Caesar. In fact, she had just lost her instincts for governing the country. So it's got the shape of, a great saga.
Mm-hmm. before I throw some of these questions over to the audience to do it, I just want to I want to compliment and ask a little bit about who did the makeup in this movie. We haven't really seen the old age one, but having seen J. Edgar, I know what bad makeup can look like. And this is incredible makeup. So who did this?
Meryl's prosthetic makeup, which is the wonder of what the backstage crew did for the film, is done by a man called Mark Coulier, and it really is the thing to come and see. It's a magical act of craft. And Meryl's longtime makeup artist Roy Helland did, the innumerable wigs and makeups for the piece.
Yeah,
so
they worked as a team. Yeah.
How long did it take to get you ready for those cameras?
Not long. Not too long.
No,
it really wasn't.
You were 86 in a snap, right? It was just sure, right?
But it's the acting, It's just the acting that makes there's a certain amount that prosthetics can do, and then everything else is really what was important to me was that we keep taking away stuff, taking it away, making it less, because then I could see me there, and that's what you like, is that you're not looking at the stuff, you're looking at the person, and I think that clears the way to making it more, immediate.
It does, because it takes you out of the movie when you're looking at looking at the stuff. All right, audience, it's your time to run them
I
up.
have a microphone here. Raise your hand. We'll come to you. First question is right here in the back row. You want to stand up?
Hi, Meryl. How did you develop the character of Mrs. Fox in the Fantastic Mr. Fox through animation?
How did I develop the character of Mrs. Fox? I pulled it out of my hat because I had a couple of days only to create this character, and Wes, was making it in Paris, which was very happy for me. I was very glad to have to fly there, but basically I thought, well, what would be sort of the perfect voice to be with George Clooney? And it's like a girl's dream, How was that, darling? Did I meet him? No. Sadly, I didn't have, no. Because, when they do those animated things, those motion capture and things, you just do your voice into a microphone, and then they work the puppet and oh God, I'm outside of my area of expertise, shockingly.
Good. Next question here, over to your left when you're ready.
Sorry, so they do it separately. Yeah.
I was just wondering, was Margaret Thatcher consulted during the making of this film, and has she seen it, and what has her reaction been?
She is very fragile. She does suffer from dementia, and she has retired from public life. She and her family were invited to see the film before I was. They were invited by Phyllida and the Filmmakers to see it first. But they have not, as far as we know. We did show it to many, many people close to her. And you can go online and read all of their reactions in England, where it remains controversial and actually extremely, extremely complimentary to the film and to the depiction of her life.
And to those people who had worked very closely with her were just stunned by Meryl's incarnation of her, the accuracy of it.
And we have time for, one more question right up here in the second row.
I loved you in Mamma Mia. Will you give me your autograph?
Yes, I will. That's really cool. Thank you.
What would have been the Mamma Mia song that Margaret Thatcher would have loved the most?
Dancing Queen.
Dancing Queen.
Thank you, everybody.
One more shot before now it's over. All right, there's no singing. Thank you both.
Thank you very much.